If All Might was Izuku's dad, part 2. Where I left off, Izuku just got on the level of, I believe, either a 4th grader or a 3rd grader. So he's somewhat close to the high schooler's level in smarts, but not really. Now after this, I saw what tells them that the person they met, being Izuku, out when they were training, is going to be joining the hero course. They're confused by this, as they then see Izuku walk in not wearing the uniform, basically just wearing what Inosuke would wear, as everyone's just confused. Why is he not wearing a uniform? Where Ida stands up, starts chopping his hands, saying, "Mr. Aizawa, why is he not wearing a uniform?" Aizawa just says he doesn't have to because he wouldn't even be here if he had to wear a uniform. So, just get to know him or something, I don't care. After this, everyone starts to introduce themselves to Izuku as he just listens to them, doesn't really care. After this, Aizawa tells them that they will be going to the USJ. Now, after this, Izuku walks out and is met by his wolf, which supposedly was not allowed into UA, but Izuku's working on trying to get that, to make that not be, so he can have his wolf inside UA. Once everyone's on the bus, they start heading over to UA, as everyone's questioning, "Hey Izuku, what type of quirk do you have?" Izuku just says, "Oh, it's these wolf ear things. They give me the power of a wolf." Now, then they ask about the 2 swords by his side. He tells them that his wolf, he can't always rely on his wolf quirk, so he has swords as well. Now, this is interrupted by a huge Nomu ripping the top of the bus off as it starts to try and grab some of the 1A kids. Izuku immediately gets out one of his swords, or both of his swords, as he does a X motion, putting both hands over the other, basically with an X, a sword in each, as he slices down, chopping the head of the Nomu off, killing it instantly, which is basically like how a demon would die. Now after this, the class thanks them as the bus has to stop, as it's revealed that the bus driver was a villain that Izuku ends up stabbing right through the heart, killing him as well. Now Aizawa and all the kids are just shocked by how easily Izuku can kill, as he just says, "You don't want your enemy to come back later stronger because you didn't finish the job," and that's why he just killed them. So they understand his idea, but they don't really like it. I mean, he's just killing people, very, very easily without any, without any signs of regret. After this, the class starts walking around with Izuku in the front with his 2 swords out in a defensive position, as they are again surrounded by villains, this time as Aizawa yells at Kaminari to try and contact the heroes, and he does. The heroes get there, but are stopped by a huge red bubble they're stopped by a huge red bubble surrounding the villains and the heroes, or the 1A class, as one of the heroes tries to touch it, but is immediately flung back and smashed through a wall unconscious. All the heroes get into a defensive position as they are now stuck outside, forced to watch a massacre about to go down from the new Class 1A. All of them immediately get into defensive positions, Mineta crying over in the corner, as they all get ready for a fight, as Izuku yells, "Alright, a fight!" as he cracks his knuckles and starts charging at them, which the villains think he's just a kid with a very cocky personality, and they don't think much of it. But as soon as they go to use their quirks, Izuku was already there and sliced both of their arms off, rendering them useless. If you're wondering what they were, one had like snake arms and one had bullet fingers. Now, Izuku continues to go through either slicing their head off, stabbing them, or just continually doing all of this as he continually keeps doing this, kind of like how Madara did this to the shinobi in that one desert video thing, I can't remember. Kind of like how Madara did, as Izuku continues to beat the villains, not even using his wolf quirk. Izuku looks behind him as he sees his wolf being surrounded by villains, as Izuku charges at them and starts punching them because he lost both of his swords running, because he ran into the Nomu, who sent him flying towards his wolf. Izuku starts punching all the villains around them until the villains are no more surrounding the wolf. Izuku continues to look around for his swords as he sees the Nomu looking at them. As he charges at them, rolls and grabs both of his swords and slices the Nomu's arms off. But they instantly regrow, as Izuku just looks shocked by this, and he's like, "What? How'd you regenerate your arms?" Shigaraki comes out of a portal as he says, "You foolish kid, you foolish brat, you can't simply cut up the Nomu. He has regeneration." Izuku thinks back to the time that he killed the other Nomu who ripped the top of the bus off, who died by him cutting his head off. So Izuku thinks, could he possibly do this? Could he possibly do the same to this Nomu? He gets both his swords as he goes for a slash, both swords up to his right as he slashes down on the Nomu's neck. Now, this is kind of like how Inosuke did it to the spider guy in one of those, like the supposed dad of the spider people, even though he wasn't. But it only goes halfway through the Nomu's neck as the Nomu turns around and punches Izuku into a wall. As Izuku is fading in and out of consciousness, he doesn't know what to do. He just lost for one of the first times, and he's feeling very excited. He wants to keep fighting this thing as it's the first thing that's really given him a challenge. So he grabs both of his swords with the blood draining down the side of his head as he continues to barrage the Nomu in attacks, cutting one of his legs off, arms off. Each time they regrow a bit slower than the last. Izuku sees this as he ups his speed, as he chops both the Nomu's arms and legs off to see that they're barely even regrowing. There's just stubs there now. Shigaraki's shocked by this and he's like, "What? How'd you do that?" Izuku doesn't respond as he chops right through the Nomu's neck very easily now that the regeneration is stopped. So the Nomu dies right there as Izuku passes out, dropping both of his swords onto the ground. Shigaraki starts scratching his neck as he's like, "You cheater! I'll kill you!" as he charges right in on Izuku as Aizawa blocks his quirk off, so Shigaraki starts slamming Izuku's head into the ground as Aizawa runs in and punches Shigaraki to the floor as he arrests Shigaraki, but not Kirogiri, who was able to get away. Kirogiri tells All For One that Shigaraki was arrested, as All For One is saddened by this, but then he exclaims that Shigaraki was too much of a man-child to even become his successor, so they need to find a new one. And All For One thinks he has the perfect idea. So after this, Izuku goes back to Izuku is in the hospital where he ends up seeing All Might and Inko. This is where he starts getting very small memories of the two. He starts seeing that with a younger version of him hanging out with them. He starts getting more visions of them going to the quirk doctor, them saying he was quirkless. And then he realizes these were his parents. He gets up and says, "Mom, Dad, it's been a while, hasn't it?" They're shocked by this as both of them hug Izuku, so they're like, "I can't believe you remember. For around 7 years, we finally found you." Izuku just nods as he starts to leave as they ask him where he's going. Izuku says he's going back to his house as they wonder where it is. Izuku shows them that it's his hut as they're shocked by this as they offered for him to live with them, but Izuku declines. He needs a lot of space for his wolf and for him to hunt and train. So they're saddened by this, but they go back to their house. After this, Izuku goes back to UA the next day as Aizawa tells them that their fight is not over and that they now have to do the UA Sports Festival. Izuku is wondering what's going to happen during the sports festival and if it's going to be interesting. As he starts training as 2 weeks of them are off. Now, back with All for One, he went back to the UA scene where Shigaraki was captured and Izuku was almost beaten by the Nomu. All for One sees a tiny splatter of blood as he uses a blood flow cork to put it into a vial as he goes back to a lab. He tosses it to a doctor and says, "Try and clone this try and clone this boy. He will be very powerful." The doctor right away starts to work on this clone of whoever this may be. You guys probably know who it is. I'm not going to say it. For all of you who don't know, you'll find out later on as he continues to make this clone. Meanwhile, at UA, all the kids are coming back from their training and studying, just training for the UA Sports Festival. Izuku immediately ends up being the oddball out. He's not wearing the UA uniform, so everyone looks at him like he's crazy. Now, Bakugo is called up to the stand to say a speech because he's the first-year representative. Bakugo says, "I'm going to win," which causes everybody to start going crazy and starts yelling how stupid and arrogant Class 1A is. After this, Midnight spins a wheel to see what the first event will be. This wheel is ultimately landed on a race. Izuku ends up going and lining up for the race as he starts feeling people touching his ears as he jumps back and says, "Stop touching my ears, will ya?" As he turns around, having scared half the people there half to death. So, after this, Midnight flashes a whip and says, "Start!" As President Mike also says start, as all the kids start rushing out of the tunnel. Izuku, already in first, jumps out into the lead as he sees 0-pointers running ahead. Izuku has never seen these 0-pointers, so he thinks this should be a challenge as he gets out both his swords as he jumps up and slashes one sword one way and the other way and decapitates the head of all three of the robots, which surprises everybody there, thinking, damn, this kid has a very strong quirk. As Izuku continues to run the opposite direction, trying to find the finish line. He ends up getting to some sort of pit with ropes surrounding it as Izuku starts hopping from rock to rock, getting around this cave very easily. After this, he continues to jump and ends up finding a minefield. He steps on a mine, so he instantly gets blasted with a mine. He instantly gets blasted with an explosion, as he thinks maybe if I just run fast enough through it, I won't get hit. As he starts backing up, as he starts sprinting through the minefield, leaving a massive explosion behind him, causing many people to be stuck there, waiting for this huge cloud of dust to disappear. After this, the camera focuses in on Izuku, who just passed the finish line, making him the first place winner. After this, Midnight announces that they have the Cavalry battle next. Everyone is wondering if there's going to be any type of system for it, as Midnight also announces there will be a point system, and the first place winner of the race will have 10 million points. Everyone starts looking at Izuku with killer intent, or just trying to scare him, as Izuku gives it right back, scaring most of them again besides Bakugo and Todoroki. Now after this, everyone makes their teams with Izuku being alone, as everyone starts ganging up on Izuku, who easily takes them out with one slash of his sword. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. Hope you guys did this longer video. I'm going to try and make the videos longer. And see ya, guys. Bye.